I picked up these variegated dwarf Schefflera last February to make a clump style planting. The first thing I did was cut the tops off and plant them together in a large terracotta pot. Over the spring and summer they did really well. They developed new branches where I'd cut them and a thick canopy grew in. They're vigorous growers and doing great, but after a bit of thought I decided I wanted to rearrange them into a different form. I did some root work back when I planted them, so the roots are developing nicely and the trunks are taking on a great aged look. First things first, let's get the trees out of the pot and separate them. They've had really great root growth, but it hasn't been long enough for them to become root bound, so separating them is actually pretty easy. The trick is to finesse the trees apart by slowly working them back and forth until they release. Even though I'll prune the roots before planting, I want to keep as much of them intact as possible so that I get to make the decision about what comes off and what stays on. I don't usually anchor my bonsai trees with wire, but in this case I want a lot of flexibility about how I place the trees, so I put anchor wire through every hole. I'm using a soil I mixed with plenty of volcanic material like lava rocks, pumice, and perlite, but it also has more organic matter than some other bonsai soils. I find that high organic mixes work great for tropical trees like this one. The organic matter helps them with buffering and provides a little bit more water retention. I want to clean up the lower branches and roots before planting. This is the tallest tree in the group, but it doesn't have a lot of movement to the trunk. It's sort of long and straight, so I want to do something interesting with it. I'm going to try planting it at an angle across the planting to make it look like it had been knocked over at some point, maybe in a hurricane or tropical storm. After the biggest tree is in place, I want to plant the next one almost on top of it. And from there, the rest of the planting is almost like putting a puzzle together. The look I'm going for is a small tropical island with a clump of trees growing together. I'm planting them high up in the pot rather than at root level because I want the planting to have a mounded look that small islands tend to have. I'm hopeful that the root over root planting will make some interesting structures over time. Eventually I'll expose that structure a bit. I'm loosely tacking them into place initially so I can adjust them as I go. Turns out I ended up moving them around quite a bit before I got them in the position I wanted them. Time for a quick pruning so I can see how they look in the planting. I'm just going to take some of the larger and older leaves off for now. Initially, I was just going to use 3 of the trees because I've heard that group plantings work best with odd numbers. In this case though, I was missing something, so I decided to add the final tree. I added some sphagnum moss to protect the exposed roots and then put them in a shady spot for a few weeks to recover. It's been a little over a month now, and this Clump Style Schefflera bonsai planting is starting to look great. It's not exactly what I had imagined at first, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out and can't wait to see how it develops. Like and subscribe and check back in for updates on this and other trees.